I think it's crap. Hello everyone and welcome to a Christmas special of the Blind Pinterest Challenge, the series where we recreate Christmas crafts from Pinterest without any instructions, because that's what Christmas is about. Okay, so to start off with, I think I'm gonna have a bit of a tropical Christmas this year, and I want to make this tropical umbrella Christmas tree. And it looks like they've used the little umbrellas you get in cocktails. I think it's quite a fun idea. It's very colourful, I like it, and it's just a little bit different, isn't it? I think that'll be fun. I'm into it. I definitely want to try and make that, so I'll try and make that. This next one's a very simple one to do, and it has told us one of the core materials on how to make this, which is a paper plate. But it's these paper plate lollipop sticks, and I think they're really nice. It'd be nice for the garden, and obviously you can do whatever you want with it. I also think it'll be quite a cheap Christmas craft idea, and I'm all about saving money this year for Christmas, you know? Don't want to go overboard. Another one I want to try is these little wooden snowmen, and obviously it's a Christmas tree decoration, but I think they're super cute, and I think they'll be really easy to make. And it's just a little bit different, isn't it? It looks handmade, but it looks like a cute handmade and not like a tacky, shitty handmade, which is always nice. I think with this one, a lot could go wrong because I'm going to try and make my own snow globe. And as you can see, I've got no instructions, no nothing. It just looks like a jar with maybe water and some glitter in. I'm not sure. I'm going to try it. I have a feeling it's not going to go very well, but I haven't seen a snow globe in years, and I do fancy making one. And I just know it's not going to go well. I know for a fact, so at least that'll be a treat for everyone. And I think the final Christmas craft idea that I'm going to try are these weird little colourful Christmas trees. I assume they're made out of paper. I could be wrong, but I actually think they make a nice little Christmas decoration. And I think it should be easy. It looks like an easy craft project, but we'll soon see. I could make a pig's ear out of it. So I think that's all I'm going to attempt in this episode. I think there's a nice little variety, and I think a lot could potentially go wrong, but we're just going to have to wait and see. Will I screw up the snow globe? I'm 99% sure I will. And I think the first Christmas craft that I'm going to attempt to make are the little wooden snowmen. So I bought a ton of these massive wooden beads online. I was going to buy just regular wooden balls and then drill holes in them, but then I found wooden balls that already had the holes in them. So it saved me a job, it saved me one step. And I'm all about shortcuts. I absolutely love them. Makes my life a lot easier. Okay, so they had 3 wooden beads to 1 snowman. Oh, these are quite nice. Okay, I think I'll do the face first before I thread them, because that makes sense. I think I'll make 3, why not? I was actually going to paint the faces on, but then I thought I'm going to have to wait around for the paint to dry, so I'm just going to draw them on. I don't know why I'm looking at the picture for. I know what a snowman looks like. I'm probably like closely examining the face of a snowman. How cute are them? Obviously you can see that my nose has got progressively better over time. That was my first one. Made it far too massive. Now I just need to string them together. Gotta wet the tip. Oh, you know what? I might do that trick I did with the tape. I think that'll be easier. My life hack coming to the rescue once again. A proper life hack and not one of them shitty life hacks you see online. That'll be enough. Tie that into a knot. How did they do their top part? I'm not great at doing like loopy knot things. I think they must have just tied it into a knot at the top. Okay, we've got the body of a snowman, and their little snowman had a little bow, and they used some red and white twine, and I'm pretty sure I bought exactly the same twine as what they have in their pin. So you know, it's Christmas, you wanna put the effort in. Just cut a little bit of this off. How did they make theirs look like that? Oh, it looks like they've done, yeah, I know what they've done. Under, tie it like that, and then double knot it. Oh, this is a little bit of embarrassing information on my behalf that you might not know about us, but I can't actually tie my shoelaces. I am a grown man, and I cannot tie shoelaces. I have to tie them in 2 bows, and then tie the 2 bows together. It just, I don't know why, I could never learn, I could never get my head around it. I don't know whether anyone's the same, or whether that's just an incredibly embarrassing thing to admit to, but I cannot tie a shoelace. So that's why I find tying things and knots and stuff incredibly tricky. Okay, I'll just do exactly the same for the other 2. Okay, so we have expectation and reality. And I think I've done a pretty decent job. I think my noses look a bit weird on some of them, and I think theirs looks a little bit more refined. I feel like mine are a little bit too chunky. Theirs seem to be a little bit more in proportion. I don't know, there's something a little bit off with mine. There's just something I can't quite put my finger on. I definitely think it's something to do with the proportions.
Proportionizing!
But it's not a complete screw up, so that's good. And because I haven't used all of the materials that I bought for these, it's hard to figure out how much they cost us. But I reckon it probably cost us about £1 each to make one of these. And I don't think that's too bad. I do think they're quite a little cute Christmas tree decoration. I think it's definitely an easy little craft project you can do. I think kids would like this as well if, you know, you've decided to have children for some reason. But anyway, one down. I think I've got 4 more to go. So let's get to it. So moving on to the paper plate lollipops. To save even more money with this project, I decided to borrow some paper plates from work. And I just painted a fun little design onto these paper plates in Christmas colours. Okay, so I've got them here in the dry, and I actually did more than one design. So I've got the polka dot pattern one. I did this really hideous swirly pattern as well. My painting skills are really rough with this. It's quite hard to paint on a paper plate because the paper plate isn't very smooth, so the texture, it really fights you. And then I've got another kind of, I don't know what kind of design you would call that. A pinstripe? No. A Ferris wheel? Who knows? Just colourful stripes. So I'm going to be making 3 lollipops. 3 seems to be my magic number today. I don't know why. So for these lollipops, I've got a wooden dowel, and it's actually quite thick. It's a really thick and chunky dowel. I wasn't expecting it to be like this. I thought it was going to be much thinner, but never mind. It just means it'll be very sturdy. And I think I'm just going to hot glue it over the top of here. I think that'll look alright, don't you? What's happened? I think I need more glue. If in doubt, just pile the glue on. I suppose it doesn't matter if your glue work's going to be super messy or super neat either, because it's going to be wrapped in plastic, so you're not going to really see it. Ah, that's better. Ah, that looks fun so far. I'm into it. Right, let's do the other 2. Okay, I'll just wait for them to set a bit, because they're very flimsy at the moment. Okay, so they're all set. They're not looking too bad actually. To be fair, I quite like these just how they are, but I am going to wrap plastic around them because they're the instructions and that's what you're supposed to do. I also love this. I bought a roll of that plastic wrap and it's come packaged in plastic as well, which doesn't really make any sense, does it? Like, what's the point? Okay, how have they done this? The thing is, I've received gifts before, like gift baskets and stuff, and they've come wrapped in this plastic, and it always looks really neat and professional, and I don't understand how that's done. Do I do it this way? How do you do this? I could just do it like that, but it's not sealed on either side. Does that matter? Maybe I need to cut a second one. Fold that like that, and grab us some more. Is it just like this? Is this how you do it? I have no idea. Alright, I feel like that looks like a lollipop. It's gonna have to do. Okay, so I've got some red ribbon here, and I'm just gonna create a lovely bow, and hopefully secure this plastic in place. Okay, so we have expectation and reality, and my wrapping skills definitely need some work. So do my bow skills. It looks alright from far away, but up close it doesn't look good at all. But I didn't wrap the other 2 because I prefer them without the wrapping. I like them just plain like this. I don't know whether anyone else agrees with this, but I think these look better. I don't know, let me know in the comments which one you prefer, without the wrapping and the bow, or with the wrapping and the bow. I can't make my mind up. I just don't think I like that plastic stuff. It's a pain in the ass. And without the wrapping, this cost us £1.50. But with the wrapping and the bow, it probably's added an extra £1 on. So I would say £2.50. So I don't think they're too bad for a Christmas decoration. It's quite cheap as well, isn't it? It's not bad at all. And I also think if you're better at wrapping and doing bows, you could obviously make this one look a lot better than I can. This is more my style. It's just easier and less can go wrong. But I've done it. I've made some paper plate lollipops. tops. Okay, so moving on to the DIY snow globe. And I'm already a little bit pissed off because I bought a mason jar online. And it's come with all the like writing on it. And I'm sure on the listing, this was a plain mason jar. It didn't have all the numbers and stuff on. And it kind of ruins the illusion, doesn't it? But never mind, that's what I've got now. Right, so for this one, I want to stick a fake Christmas tree. I also wasn't sure what size Christmas tree I would need. So I bought a big bag full of lots of different size Christmas trees. So if you ever need a little tiny Christmas tree, then you know, come round mine. Come knocking at the door. I'll borrow you one. Well, I'll just give you one. So let's see what size is the best. These aren't made very well. It's too big. Alright, okay, so I think that's a decent size. Obviously my Christmas tree looks completely different to theirs, but I don't know where they bought their Christmas trees from. I'm sure they'll come in handy next Christmas. I have no idea what I'm making next Christmas, but you never know. Right, I think my first step is to hot glue the Christmas tree onto the lid of the mason jar. I think hot glue will be strong enough. I hope so. I also bought these artificial snowflakes, which are like iridescent, glittery flake things, and I'm pretty sure that's exactly what they used in their pin. So it should give the same effect. I'm going to put these in first before I put the water in. Now, how snowy do I want my snow globe? Do we think that's enough? I'll add a tiny bit more. Okay, now I just fill it up with water. I don't want to fill it completely up to the top with water. I think you're supposed to leave a gap for air for it to move. They've got a gap in theirs. I'm just going by what I see. I think that'll be enough. And then just screw you on. I think I'm done. And I don't think I like it at all. But we have expectation and reality. Why is all the snow at the top? Why doesn't it just float around for? I know I can kind of do that. I think they must have literally shaken theirs and then taken the photo because it all floats to the top. Look at it. They must have done that and then, quick, take the photo. I don't know whether I like it at all. In fact, no, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't even know why I'm debating it. I don't like it. I think it's crap. Do normal snow globes do that? Where the snow just floats to the top? I don't think they do. I'm sure on regular snow globes, the snow's at the bottom. How does the snow lie at the bottom though? I'm gonna Google it. Yeah, on a regular snow globe, the snow sits at the bottom. It doesn't float at the top at all. I knew there was something weird about this. Obviously, the iridescent glitter isn't the right thing to use, but I'm not sure what else you're supposed to use for it. Ah well. It didn't pop open and the water didn't go everywhere, so that's nice. And this DIY snow globe cost me £6, and if I'm honest, I think you could just buy a snow globe for £6 and it would be way better than this. It doesn't act like a snow globe's supposed to act like.
You're not a snow globe.
But this wasn't my fault. This is the original pin's fault. I'm shifting blame to them, so I feel better about myself. Okay, so moving on to the little origami Christmas trees. And I've got a collection of fancier paper. I think theirs are a little bit plain and boring, so I wanted to make mine a little bit more jazzy. And I think this is going to be pretty straightforward. I think I just need to cut these into a triangle. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do. Should I freehand it or should I measure it? It's kind of pointless if I measure it because I won't measure it properly. I'm just going to live on the edge. I'm just going to freehand it. I feel like I shouldn't have freehanded it. That's quite a decent triangle, actually. I think theirs must be really small. I can't tell how big they are. Trim that down a tiny bit. Right, I'll use that as a template for the others. Okay, so I've got 3 triangle bits of paper, and now I just need to kind of accordion fold it. So they fold it like that, and then they must fold it back on itself. I think this is how they've done it. Obviously, I can't tell because I don't have any instructions. That's not right. So that point needs to hide the top of the skewer, but that's not going to because the skewer is going to come up. Maybe I should start at the top and work my way down at the bottom. Right, try that again. I don't think that one's going to work. I think that's right. I think this one's going to work better than that one, so I'm going to bin that one and we'll just do these 2. Okay, I feel like they look right. So I've got some skewers here, some long bamboo skewers. So we just poke it through. I'll just fold you all the way and then poke all the way through. No. Oh, it got me good. Now, it didn't quite pierce the skin, but it got me good. Little bastard. Oh, I feel like I'm making a right mess of this. I'm terrified now. So that needs to hide the top of the skewer. Okay, I feel like that's as good as I'm gonna get with that one. Don't know where that went. Right, try the other one. Okay, so I've got two pretty ugly Christmas trees and I need to attach them to the little wooden bases. Do I have a drill bit that is the same size? Yeah, I think that one's better actually. Okay, so I've got some little wooden blocks here. I'll just drill a couple of holes in. And then I should just be able to thread these into here. I don't think I even need to glue them in. I think that fits in quite nicely. Anyway, we have expectation and reality. And I definitely don't think mine look anywhere near as good as the original. I think mine are completely out of proportion. They're far too on the wide side. I think theirs are quite narrow. And I think with something like this, you really need their folding technique. My folding technique is just, it's not there at all. It's got the same kind of vibe as what theirs has, but just a very unpolished version. That's what I would say, very, very unpolished. But on the positive side, I pretty much had everything for these, so the only thing I needed to buy was the bamboo skewers. So these probably cost us about 20 pence. Very, very, very cheap, which I'm very happy about because if this had cost us any more money, I'd be furious. Okay, so moving on to the tropical Christmas tree. I decided I would make the Christmas tree base from just regular old chicken wire because it's quite moldable and flexible. So I knew I could form some sort of shape with that. Once I thought I was happy with that, I decided to wrap it up with a pallet wrap just so that I would have a flat surface for these umbrellas to stick onto. And that's what it was looking like so far. I'm not gonna lie, it looks like a massive condom. Not sure I'm off to a great start, but I've made it now. There's no turning back. And now it's just time to hot glue lots of little cocktail umbrellas to this incredibly phallic looking shape. And in total, I think that took me about an hour and a half, possibly even 2 hours to make. So it took a lot longer than I thought it was going to. I was actually going to make it bigger than what it was originally, and I'm really glad I didn't. So we have expectation and reality. And actually looking at the expectation, the original pin, I don't think mine's too far from it. It's just not as triangular, it's just a bit bulkier than theirs. I feel like I've had a lot of problems today with proportions. I just can't get it right, can I? But I've got a plug-in light bulb, and I'm hoping that when I turn all the studio lights off and put a light under here, it's going to look somewhat better than what it looks like now. There's nothing Christmas tree about it. It's a massive, well, like a dildo looking object. There's nothing, it's not a tree. It's just a massive dildo. But let's light it up, we'll see. That didn't help at all, did it? Shove the light further in. Does that look like a tropical Christmas that I was going for? I don't think it does. I actually think it looks better in daylight and not lit up. It looks like the original pin though, kind of. I feel like I've made something very similar to what they made. I'm calling it a win. I've had too many fails today. This is a win. This looks great. I love it so much. And this tropical dildo only cost me £11.38. And that was just on cocktail umbrellas. I had all the other materials. And you know, it's a very substantial object for £11.38. Not Christmassy, not Christmas tree, but tropical and different. We'll call it different. Well, that just about does it for this year's Christmas special of the Blind Pinterest Challenge. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know what you thought of all my successful Christmas crafts. I can't believe how good of an episode this has been. Everything's worked out so well. But I'll see you next week for a brand new video.